Good morning to day 333. Welcome everybody. Setting up as we speak. Before I start, give me a like and subscribe. A few comments last night, thank you very much. Cecil, sorry about my ugly face. What can I do? Today, same sort of scenario. Couple of minor changes obviously. We're still going to put another coat on the back of the cottage as far as I'm aware. The guys are actually setting up the rods for the steps because next week they're going to get done, and we're starting the tracks on the front of the driveway, so marking out, digging out, cutting where possible if it needs cutting obviously, and then we need to just work out how much space we need to leave either side for the mortar. I don't really want any space for mortar, but I think we might have to do that. So I'm going to go online and have a quick look to see what it is we actually require, but let me show you what I mean. Anyone out there that's got any experience, let me know. The track here has obviously been cut quite wide anyway, because we were initially going to put in a boxing we bought from here, but it was too deep. So we are probably around about 180, 190, if not 200. The boxing we've actually bought is 130. So as you can see, there's probably about 2 inches either side of, 2 inches. So we're going to have to get that centralised, but we'll get it butted up against this side probably and get mortar all around it. This one we actually cut quite small because we were going to do a wipeout. So we're probably around about 1/2 inch too thin here. So we're going to have to disc cut all the way down here. So again, we're going to have to measure how wide that is and how much we need. So again, how much mortar do we need either side? Do we need mortar at all? I'd rather have it the same width of the actual gutter itself and pour concrete down and set it into it. But I'm pretty sure you're probably going to have some form of mortar around it. And I can't remember if I actually bought enough, because initially we were going to go right through here with a 3-inch pipe. So we'll double check, but if I've got enough, then we'll obviously take it right up there. We'll lean this one backwards, we'll lean this one that way, and then they'll T-junction into here, and this will be the feed straight out to the road. And then we'll cut through here and we'll put a wipeout in here for it to pour out onto the road. Yesterday the gardening was obviously done on here. We'll say gardening, the de-weeding. We're starting to get quite a lot of weeds, etc. coming through. So apparently lots of worms, which is good news. So we just need to get this leveled at some stage and get that finished off. The monkeys love whatever's in there. I saw them in there this morning having a good old munch. Here, I don't want to do anything with the steps at the moment until we physically work out what we're doing. But at the same time, one thing I do want to do today is fit the furniture to the door. Even though the door's not finished and it hasn't been filled in and sanded and repainted, I still want to get all the locks and the furniture on there. So I'm probably going to get that done at some stage today. So my aim today at the moment is to get in there and work on the doors, and also start working on this door. The painter's task at the moment is to get the coats needed onto the back of the building, and then start moving into here with regards to sanding down and painting in here. I'm sure he'll get some white on here at some stage as well. Obviously we need to get this dug out and get this balanced up so we know obviously the fall from here. So obviously we're going to have quite high up here, a fall down to here, a fall back up, and then obviously the fall all the way down there. So we'll have to get that. That's one of the tasks we'll be aiming on today. The windows obviously have been balanced up. We have to look at getting one put into here as well. So initially we've got a shortfall here, so we're going to have to batten along here and get concrete poured, apparently. I don't think we really need to do that, but let's have a look at that. We're looking at that today. These guys are working on here obviously. The cottage is open, so I can now give you a view from behind. So the doors and windows were balanced in yesterday, as I said. So we saw obviously the doors here anyway, so they're ready to be played around with. And then you've got this little puppy in there as well. So it's a better fit. We have gone a little bit too high up there. That's because we've now cut this down. And there's quite a big gap either side here, but I did manage to find 6-inch screws in Coinage yesterday. So I'll probably go and buy a load more of those and make sure that all of these windows are fixed in. And I'll also do the ones over the road, because over the road there seems to be a few that are very loose, where they've obviously had the windows in and out, in and out, in and out. The screws are just turning. So I'll probably go and get some longer screws, get the STS fired right through, and get those windows put back in again quite nice and solid. The window fitter has said that he's going to come at 9:30 today, so fingers crossed he can come and have a quick look at this and tell me what he thinks. This hole is absolutely awful. As you can see at the bottom, we've had to wedge it right over as far as we can left because the opening on the left-hand side isn't straight, but it's now plumb. But look at the actual gap that just increases in width all the way up. I mean, to give you a gist of that, it's probably about 1.25 inches. And then this side is reasonably straight, but slightly wider at the bottom and slightly thinner at the top, but still 3/4 inch down to about 1 inch, inch and a bit. So yeah, not a very, very good window frame there, that's for sure. And obviously we've had an absolute disaster with this one. For some reason we've made that 40 odd inches, like I said. This one's not too bad from an outside point of view, but again, the inside, look at the gap on the side there. It's like, it's kicking on 2 inches. So I'm really not too sure how I'm going to finish that. Obviously fixafoam the thing to hell. So I'm going to have to go and get some cans of fixafoam today to fix that in properly. And then from the fixafoam, obviously the mortar on the outside is bloody thick, look. So that's okay, we're actually hiding the outside. But in here, we're going to have to fixafoam in here and then get some bloody long screws. I mean, we're going to go from about here. So we've got 3.5 inches of screw before we even touch the wall. So I'm going to have to, I'm pretty sure it goes through this side of the frame, just behind the door. So it's going to be right on the very outer edge here as well. So it might be worth us pushing those back a bit further if we can, but I don't think we can. Anyway, we'll have to be damn straight with the SDS to make sure we get, obviously in an ideal world, as we're going through, really we want to be sort of aiming slightly to the left, just to ensure that we don't come out the surface, because that'll easily blow. And we want to get a bloody good fixing on those as well. So, and then once they're actually once they're fixafoamed and screwed in, then we can do what we did over the road. We can silicone all around the inside. We can fill in here, all the insides, and then we can silicone over the top. And from the outside, we can silicone all the way around the window like we did on the other ones. But before we do anything with these, they've got to come back out again. We've got to work. I've got to make sure that is 100% plumb. If that's 100% plumb, then that's great. Then all we've got to do is literally silicone all the way around, loads of silicone, dump the door down on top of it. Ideally, fix the door down. That's what you're meant to do. Then once you've done that, fixafoam the frame all the way around, then let it go off. And then you've got the whole left and right and forward and backwards to play with then, but the frame is fixed plumb. As far as I'm aware, that's how they do it in England. They fix down the base first, make sure it's waterproof, make sure it's 100% plumb, then deal with the frame left and right after fixafoam. The fixafoam holds it in place, but you have a bit of flexibility to push it back and forth and left and right. And that frame's exactly the same. We've got quite a big gap down the right-hand side of that frame. And the left-hand side isn't too bad. But again, that's what we should have maximum, really. Yeah, so definitely learnt a lot when it comes down to window openings and door openings here. I've never been in a situation where things like block entrances and exits can be so out. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be that they don't seem to be putting any form of squares or lines on things to make sure that everything's the right measurement and, more importantly, straight. And as a result of that, you have to spend a lot of time rectifying it. This is the window I told you about they've delivered completely wrong, so I'm working with him at the moment to try and get that reordered, but I'm not having any luck at the moment. But anyway, the pain in the arse about that is that not only have I got to wait for it, obviously we've got to discuss who's going to pay for it, bear in mind that one's gone wrong, and then on top of that you've then got the VAT and the duty, and the carcass that I have to make. The last carcass was £1,250 to house the windows and the frames. They didn't want to sign off and send them the way they were. So I had to pay for them to be put into a crate. So it was £1,250 for the crate, and it worked out about 110% total with the shipping and the VAT and duty. So anyway, this is the first window I think we do need to crack on with, obviously, because that's in the house. So we need to get the 2-foot window put into here. I think today we could try and get this done, get this taken out and get this little slope done, and then we're really good to go on putting the window in here. But again, the window fit is meant to be coming at 9:30 today, so I'll get him to have a good look, and if he's cheap enough and he can promise me he's going to do a better job this time, then I think I'll let him crack on with those rather than us doing it. But anyway, I'm going to be shooting off and updating you throughout the day. In the meantime, obviously give me some comments and ideally a thumbs up, and I'll check in with you a bit later on. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, it's 2:30. Quick check-in, we've been busy. Track has also been cut in. Guys are in there gluing all the drainage gutters together. Tyson's over the other side making up some mortar for the front step on the garden. Trying to get it done. So anyway, before I start, please help me with the old bomb job. Anybody new, subscribe. Send me some comments, criticism, love, whatever you want to do. So, let me quickly show you what we're doing. Obviously, we've got this track being dug out, and it's got to go low enough in order to take the, I suppose, the northerly point. And we've got to have a fall of at least 2 inches all the way down here. And then here we've got some of the conduits for the electrics, the gates, and all sorts in here to play around with. So it's a bit of a nightmare. Also, all the rebar that's been in here has been rusting very, very well. So obviously this has been open and water from the taps been pouring in here for the last 3-4 months. So we're having to cut all that out. So hopefully we will get the actual depth we need. In here, I mean, here's the tracks themselves. So we're blue taping them up and actually just then cable tying the actual the depths that we want this to go down to. So we'll glue it all together and then hang it on here, supported in here with concrete underneath. So we're going to be about 2 inches here connected, and all the way up here to around the other side of the garage will be about 1/4 inch about here. Hopefully we'll be flush about here. So trimming off the end here about 80. That will be flush, go into 1/4 inch, down to 1 inch, down to... Sorry about that. And then hopefully connecting into here like a little T-junction straight along here. So hopefully we're around about 2 inches depth here. By the time we finish over there, we'll be about 4 inches. So we've definitely got the 4-inch depth there. So hopefully we can get that through in the middle as well, and make sure we can get the run we need. And then we obviously can concrete down either side and a little slope either side to make sure the water comes in to the actual gutter itself. We are going to try and run it down here as well. I'm hoping to come this way, like I said earlier on, but the downside is trying to join, you know, one doing that way, one doing that way. I'm not too sure we're going to be able to join them. So we will try and see what happens. But if it doesn't work, then we'll have to second think that. Do we run it flush all the way through and take out the wall, or do we not bother? I'd like to capture that water and get it out. So I think, you know, this is running anyway, so it's all coming this way. So we could fill it and run the water down into this piece. So that will be the last option if we do that. We've had a lick of paint on the pieces here, as you can see here, and as you can see here. Didn't do this in there for some reason, not too sure why. Around the back we've had more paint put on the back of the building. The steps have had their rods mounted. Down here we've got more paint that's gone on the back of the building, so hopefully scraped out there. But other than that, he's put more paint on here, so it looks a lot better. The guys down here, sorry about the wind. Still need to get this smoothed out down here. So it looks like we've been doing a bit of work here. So this is actually a little bit more smoother now. We can get those blocks taken out at some stage. And the step is now going in and being boxed, as we said. Okay. And then we'll get this pipe down. I thought that was what he was doing today, getting the pipe down, but it's not happened. We need to dig that out more. This corner needs to come out a lot more, and that needs to go down, and then that will affect all of this as well. So whatever that height is there, and this bit here, this bit all needs to come out to make sure that can go down. So we need to get that done. And down here, all this needs to be raked through here. As you can see, there's been piles of stuff put in, which is great, but we need to get this now nice and smooth through here. And then I need to think about what I'm going to put on it. Is it just going to be grass, or is it going to be left as it is? I have to decide. But anyway, step obviously going in for the steps, which is good. This is near on finished down here. Those swirl marks really do show up on here now, which is not major, but I'd rather they weren't there. And then he scraped this out for some unknown reason, I'm not too sure why. But obviously that's going to have to be filled. And obviously the driveway is having its work done. So nothing's really taking place inside today. We've really been putting more time and effort into the outside. But obviously scraping these off, preparing these, getting all this actually done, getting the rods done, that is now ready. Wednesday is when the man is coming out to have a good look at finishing those off. He's going to get those done in one day. And down here, obviously, these are going to be ready. This is going to be poured. This has been set as well, so we can actually finish that edge off. And these are now being glued. And these little packers, like I said, are going to be the depths that we're going to end up lowering this in for. So hopefully we can get that finished off today. We can get this all finished off, get it all brushed out. hopefully no rain tonight. We can actually get this lowered in and connected up tomorrow. Concrete down underneath, and a little slope into each one of them all the way around. That would be absolutely amazing. We can get that done by the end of play tomorrow. And at the same time, Sean wants to get in there and start sanding down and painting, which if we do what we should be doing with those tomorrow, he can definitely get on and do that. Where we are so far. I'll give you a quick update as and when we proceed more. Obviously it's 2:30, China's dentist. A little bit more weeding's going on down there. So yeah, I'll update you as the day goes. Plenty more time left. Okay, so we're 10 to 4. Closing down on Friday at 10 to 4. Before I start, please help me like and subscribe. That will be much appreciated if you don't mind. Okay, so we've been digging out in the hope that we'll be able to get the right depth here and the run, finishing right here at around about probably just under 2 inches full. That's the top of the unit, so that we can then enter here and come all the way down here, exiting here at about 4 or 5 inches. But obviously the Eddie Vane luck struck again. The irrigation pipe to the actual front gardens, or the sprinklers, that's a 2-inch conduit that actually houses the 1-inch pipe that goes and feeds those. So now that is dictating what we're going to end up doing here and what we're going to end up doing here. So we were hoping to be around about 1.5 inches low there, connecting 1.5 inches and coming down here and finishing at the end. We now can't do that. So it might be fate. From my point of view, my only concern at the moment is that we've had to go shallow conduit, shallow drainage, which is only 55 mil, so just over 2 inches, which means that when we get a heavy lot of rain, it's going to get overwhelmed very quickly. So I was hoping to try and get a steeper run on it so that we can actually help it get rid of water sooner rather than that. But that's not going to happen. So we're going to have to try and come into here about 1/2 inch now. So I have a 1/2 inch run on here, which is not a great deal of run at all. Then connect into here and hit 1/2 inch, and then literally try and get to a point where here we're about 1.5 inches. So that means we're only going to get 1 inch of run to here, and then we can do a 2-inch run after that. So hopefully that will be enough to actually let the water run, but again, no, my luck, it probably isn't, but we've got no choice. There's nothing we can do here, apart from obviously digging all the way around here and all the way around here and T-junction it up and around, which is just absolute aggro. So that's not going to happen. So as you can see, we actually managed to get the actual depth we needed here, absolutely brilliant, all the way through, and then boom, hit that bloody mess. Anyway, there's nothing more we can do on that, unfortunately. So obviously, like I said earlier on, we got the first coat of paint on the outsides of the doors. Hopefully we'll get some sanding and some painting done inside here tomorrow. That's going to be one of the main aims. We've actually got the lip over here concreted as well. So we've got the back of the cottage done, back of the cottage painted today. We've got the soak away finished off. We've got the step started on the set of steps coming down from the pool area to the back. We've got the rods put onto the back steps. We've got the paint put onto the actual corners, apart from this one here, because we were working on that, on the entrances and exits to the garage. We've got this cut and got this dug out and hit our lovely teething problem. And Tyson has been down there with his green-fingered thumbs on, doing a bit of gardening. All right, green finger. So we got green finger down there with a bit of a pulling some weeds. So anyway, apart from that, we're pretty much over on planet Earth today. So check in tomorrow as and when we try and record our next stage on here. Give me some likes and comments and all the positive stuff that goes along with doing this stuff. And I will see you bright and breezy tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and welcome new subscribers as well. Thank you. Oh, and also, by the way, Wayne, good to see you and your mum today, by the way. Have a good day, and let's catch up next week. See you.